Everybody, welcome back to Buddy's Spirits and Cigars. And we're continuing with the Around the Barrel series with Big Turp and Dawson. Today we're going to do Rebel Cask Strength. I have seen so many of just liquor stores have their own store pick of this Rebel Cask Strength. Now, a year ago-ish, last year sometime, I believe it was, we done the Rebel 100. Solid pour, especially for the price point.
It's $30, maybe.
It's a good pour. It's another one I recommend people have in their portfolio at home. But I haven't tried a Cask Strength, and so I'm pretty excited about trying this. Like I said, I've seen quite a few of them around various stores. This is 120 proof. It was bottled, a barrel was filled in 8/17 of 17. So pretty excited about this. It's from Lux Row. It is a wheated bourbon, so I would expect that it will get some of the sweetness out of this. And
well, we're definitely potato heads. We like the wheat, the potato.
Yeah. So I've been looking forward to trying this. This particular one, I bought a bundle, if you will, in order to get this. So
okay.
They had a Weller foolproof store pick that was there, and they had if you wanted that, then you had to buy their Rebel Cask Strength and a
twist my arm.
Yeah, which is, it's a store pick as well. And then you also had to get the there was another one. It was a Knob Creek Rye store pick.
Twist my arm again, because
So you got Weller foolproof store pick in itself is huge.
Yeah.
And then you got the Rebel Cask Strength and then the Knob Creek Rye store pick.
I thought there was one more. Is that it?
Huh?
I thought there was one more.
I think that's it.
Was that it with three of them? Okay.
3 bottles. And it was like
$200 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like $239 or something like that.
I mean, well, by the time you put tax and stuff, I mean, that's great, man.
Yeah.
$239, I mean, that's awesome.
I mean, if you look secondary market on the Weller foolproof store pick on its own is well over.
Oh yeah, they're $300-400 at least.
Well over that.
Yeah.
It just in itself. So the fact that you're getting 2 more store picks with it, I mean, that's pretty solid.
And, and if we're being honest, the Weller foolproof might have been around 80 to 100 by the time you did the math on the other 2.
Yeah.
But that's not secondary market. Now that is marked up maybe $10-15 more than what other store picks are.
But are you ever going to see one around here?
You think I care? And anybody watching this is a liar if they say they wouldn't buy a Weller foolproof store pick for $80 to $100.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You straight up. A regular foolproof.
Yeah.
It's over there now, but I'd pay $100 all day long.
Yep.
And we're big advocates for not paying secondary market prices.
Yeah, but here's the deal. I went into their store and they were super nice. I talked to them about their store picks. They were more than willing to take the time to talk to me. And they didn't have the maybe 3 Weller foolproof store picks left.
Yeah.
Had several of the Rebel, because I'm sure they got less Weller foolproof store picks than they did, out of that barrel versus these. I don't know that for a fact, but and they could have kept a couple of Weller foolproof store picks for themselves. I don't know. But at the end of the day, if you can go into a store, get 3 store picks, especially one of them being a Weller foolproof store pick, and you spend, $260, you come out with 3 store pick bottles and it's only $260, I think that's a win.
I agree.
I really do.
No, I
I
agree.
think it's a win. I mean, because that's averaging out to, $85 a bottle.
Right. And it wasn't a huge store either, was it?
That. No, it was big.
It was a big
I mean, it wasn't like a Total Wine or Specs or something like that. It was a decent sized store. They had, they really had great selections. They had Eagle Rare just sitting on the shelf. They had, if you like Benchmark, they had the full lineup sitting on the shelf. Now, they didn't have like an overabundance of all of these things, but they still had some sitting on the shelf, so.
Well, I'm
pretty solid.
an advocate for good pricing on everything.
Yeah. And that is marked up some,
A little bit.
but it's not like astronomical.
No.
And it's nowhere near secondary.
Well,
market
and that's
price.
where I'm about to get, where I'm from, we don't have any giant stores. They're all mom and pop. I own it, I'm the clerk
Yeah.
type stores, which
Yeah.
I think is great. But they don't get, I'm just gonna use Buffalo Trace as an example because everybody wants Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace is everywhere. Great pour, right?
Yeah.
But I might be able to walk into a store at Tulsa, and if they have it, I might be able to buy Buffalo Trace for $25. Great price. Well, the stores in the place where I live, it's 29 to 30.
Yeah.
And I asked them, hey, one day I asked one of my buddies,
And they don't have an abundance of it sitting there.
right, Thomas, I was like, hey, why isn't your prices the same as these big stores? And he was like, he's like, we try to keep it as close as possible. He said, but at the end of the day, he said, I probably get 10% of the Buffalo Trace that some of these big stores in Tulsa do.
Yeah.
He said, so I have to mark it up a little bit more to make my percentage
Yeah. There's profit.
as what they do. Yeah,
Yeah.
my profit margin has to be a little bit different.
Right.
He was like, obviously we're not charging secondary prices. He was like, but we have to go up just a little bit. And he said, and they buy it in such large quantities that they get a deal. They get a better price on it from the distributor. He said, so they may buy it for 20. Well, I have to buy it for 25.
Well, and there's another thing that goes on top of that. And I was talking to one of the local, I got some friends that own some stores too. And they will charge, so if a distributor, and this is pretty sorry on distributing companies' part in my opinion. So let's say that you owned a store, right? And let's say there's 6 bottles in a case. Well, if your allocation for according to the sales or whatever you made at that store, your allocation was like, okay, you can get 3 bottles of said whiskey out of a case of 6. I'm gonna charge you extra for those because I had to break a case.
Yep.
That's bullcrap, because I guarantee you, if you was to ask that store, hey, do you just want this whole case instead of just 3, and then you don't have to pay extra
They're going to say
to break a
absolutely.
case? That store, you would take that deal in 100% every time.
Well,
And that's the problem. I think that's crap. Give them the whole case.
and I know, at least with the previous distributor for my area in certain products, and not even in my area, I know some stores up in, other areas as well that I've talked to. And I'm not going to name any of the stores, but this isn't 1 or 2. I mean, this is 5 and 6 stores that I know that I've talked to that have said this. The rep will come in and they'll say, hey, we're low on Buffalo Trace. And again, I'm using that as an example because universally that's a great example.
Yeah.
Hey, we're getting low. Is there any way we can get a case within the next couple months? And the rep comes in and says, well, if you buy 20 cases of Wheatley vodka, you can.
Yeah, and that's
And they're
wrong.
doing kickbacks. That's illegal.
It is. And, stuff like that right there is why RNDC lost the contract with Sazerac
Yeah.
because of doing illegal stuff like that, man. But I think it's still, there's some way that they're discreetly doing it, that it may not be public or on paper per se. But, there was a store that we're good friends with, and not going to name any names, but because the owner of this store would not sell these allocated bottles at a certain price and was going to just sell them at MSRP because the MSRP met the profit margins that store has set, they wouldn't sell that case to them.
Yeah. I also
Dude,
know,
that's crap.
I know for a fact on the flip side, there's a store not in my area, about 20 minutes. I'm just going to say Muskogee because I'm not going to crap on any stores, but Muskogee. If anybody's on any bourbon pages, you know exactly what store I'm talking about. You walk in there and they got Blanton's, $2.99.
Golly.
Right? So triple. Literally triple
More than
secondary.
triple, yeah.
Well, yeah, MSRP is like, more than triple, but I'm talking secondary.
Yeah.
Triple. The previous distributor, that store did not get any more allocations from them at all. Southern Glaciers just took over. I talked to the Southern Glaciers rep the other day and asked him about that. I said, hey, is this store going to get allocations from you guys? And he was like, well, he said, we just took over. He said, so we sent them their allocation for this quarter. He said, but we told them when we dropped off their allocations, if we come back in here next time and these prices are still like this, then you're off the allocation list.
Well, see, I heard that is not just at a distributor level. I heard that was coming from Sazerac and all them themselves.
And maybe so.
I heard that was being pushed down, that if a store is going to do price gouging and they're going to charge, let's say 5 times what MSRP is or whatever the case is, then they're not going to get any more allocations because of stupidity like that.
Yep.
And I'm glad that that's happening. But I hope they stick to their guns.
That's great. No, I agree.
Hope they stick
but it just made me feel good that I had a rep in my area that was like, we're not going to allow that. He told me the percentage, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. I don't remember what it was,
and
but he said we have a certain markup that is the minimum we allow. Mm-hmm. He said, and we have a certain markup as the maximum we allow. He said, any more than that certain percentage, he said, after we come in a few times and see you continuously doing that, he said, you're off the allocation list and you don't get it.
Good.
Because he said, we don't want, stores to get all this bourbon and sell it for pennies on the dollar and then mess over the other stores in that area that are selling it for, and he said,
like they're supposed to.
Right.
Yeah.
He said, so we want to reward good pricing, and I was like, that's great.
No, I agree. And, you shouldn't want to do that to your customers as a store owner. You should not want to try to bend your customers over a barrel, even if they're not one of your regular customers, even if it's a person that's passing through and they're like, oh, we found blah, 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 and you're going to charge them 3 or 4 times what MSRP is. That's wrong. And I understand. I somewhat see the reason the stores are doing that, because what's happening is people are coming and buying them for MSRP, and then they'll flip them in a group and sell them for 5 or 6 times what the MSRP is, because secondary market's always higher.
Yep. However,
the people that are doing that are just as wrong as the stores that are trying to price gouge.
Well, and
it's not right.
And that
we should all get to enjoy this stuff and it not be so priced so high that you can either make your house payment or buy.
On a big store's note, I can see where it would be hard to keep up with your customer base.
Yeah.
Like you're talking like Tulsa, Oklahoma City, huge places like that where you have massive stores. I could see where it would be hard to know your customers. But where I shop, I walk in, they're like, hey, Dawson, like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
They know me.
Yeah.
So, I got the purple tops and then had the opportunity to get some bottles for some buddies and stuff like that.
Right.
And, I was going to sell the bottle, or not sell the bottle. I was going to get the bottle for my buddy. And he was like, well, I'm going to sell you this bottle to your buddy because I know your buddy's going to open it and drink it.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's good for the store to also maintain with their customer base and know, like, this is a good customer. This is somebody I want to help out. They're in here all the time. They're going to drink their bottles.
Me,
they're
going to support them.
They're going to share it with people. They're going to put my name out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's good.
Yeah, because word of mouth does travel and it does mean something. And, I'll tell you, just a warning for you stores that like to price gouge, we talk about you in the bourbon groups.
We talk some mad shit.
And it's not that I want to run any store down or anything else in that aspect, but we do, hey, avoid this store. And if you have the full BTAC lineup put up there and you have bottles within that BTAC lineup for $1,500, $1,800, $2,500, you know, we call that a museum.
Yeah.
Because the bourbon community is pretty close. We talk a lot, and this is a hobby we enjoy so much, and so the word gets around, and nobody's going to pay those prices, and you're going to sell on those bottles forever.
Nope.
And that's sad that you're willing, you know, make your money by selling volume. Don't make your money, try to make all your money off of 1 or 2 or even 5 or 6 bottles.
Yep.
Make it off volume.
And then with that being said, like, if you want to charge me $130 for a BTAC, and the MSRP is $99.99, but you say, hey, I get 1 bottle every 5 years, so I need to make a little bit more of a different margin.
I'm good.
I am very understanding about that.
And you're being honest.
You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate that. And I'm like, yeah, I'll buy that all day long.
Yeah.
You know, because I understand that some of these stores don't get 10 bottles of WL Weller every year. They get 1 every 5 years.
Yeah.
So I understand when you get certain bottles, there has to be a margin there for you to make your money and for you even to be worth hounding the rep over getting it.
Yeah.
You know, because they just don't send those.
Correct.
You have to ask for them, and then ask for them, and then ask for them, and then ask for them 70 more times.
Yeah.
Before you get it. And that's not worth your time if you're going to make $10 on the bottle. It's just not. Put your energy into something else.
No, I'm with you. It's just not worth. It doesn't set a good example for obtaining new customer base.
Boy, there's our rant for the day.
Yeah. All right, on to Rebel Cask Strength.
I've already drank it.
Oh, okay.
I was like 5 minutes in, took a sip. I didn't even mean to. I was
Start
just
your review and
smoking
I'll
and drinking.
taste mine.
It's got a very sweet nose. You said it was a weeder, so that makes sense. I get a lot of vanilla on the nose. I also get some of that ethanol. You can tell it's 120 proof, but not in a bad way. You know, you can tell it's going to give you that good hug.
It's not a bad gig though.
No, that's got a great nose. Very pleasant. I'm a little stopped up too today, so my nose isn't as great as what it usually is. But it's very pleasant. Really enjoy it. The palate was very good. It's that you can tell it has some weed in it for sure. I get some fruit in there, some vanilla, some caramel. Not a whole lot of oak for me. Maybe a little bit, but
I mean, it's not crazy old. I mean, it's 5-6 year old juice.
Right. But it's definitely got that vanilla note in there, and that's
which is a
prominent.
pretty good sweet spot for a lot of distilleries.
Oh yeah. But it's got that prominent vanilla in there to me, some caramel maybe. I get those two mixed up quite a bit. It's enjoyable, man. I mean, that's a great pour.
To me, concentrates more on the middle part of the palate. It really, you get some sweetness and flavors up front, but the main concentration of the spirit itself it really lingers on that middle part of the palate to me. But I think it's enjoyable. I think that's solid, and I'm glad that was part of that bundle.
that's a great sipper for sure, man. I mean,
yeah, it's good. Pairing well with our cigar.
Yeah.
You know, I have no issues with that. So
I'm gonna start my rating.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna give it a 3.25. I think it is a very enjoyable pour.
Yep.
It's definitely better than 2.5, which obviously is middle of the road on our rating system. It's definitely better than that.
Yeah.
It doesn't blow my top off or make me say, hey, I need to go buy a case tomorrow. But it's very good. And I could see where if you got a store who is renowned for really good picks and they get one of these in and they say, hey, this is good, I could see how that could easily become a 4.25. You know what I mean? If you got a good pick on that. And that's not a bad pick, don't get me wrong.
Right.
That's very enjoyable, but you know how they vary.
They do.
That's those store picks. That store pick right there, though, that Rebel Cask Strength is definitely something I'll be keeping my eye out for.
If this is an indicator as to where, like on the road, as to where the Weller Foolproof Store Pick is at, it's going to be solid.
Yeah. Mine is phenomenal.
Yeah. And I know you like that word, but
Yeah.
you know, we tried a Weller Foolproof Store Pick at Liquor Barn, and it was, P-Dub and I was just like, holy cow.
And for everybody wondering about my store pick, I'm not being greedy. I'm just bribing Chris with my house. I told him, I said, I'm not bringing you a sample, which I would on most things. I said, you got to come up and try it for yourself. 'Cause I'm trying to get him up that way. So.
And I'm not opposed to it, just work schedules, everything else.
I get it. I'm just saying.
Life, you know?
I'm not trying to be stingy. I'm just
Yeah.
saying I'm bribing him a little bit.
Yeah, I know. But that's our review on the Rebel Cast Strength. You know, you see this, if I don't know in itself what this bottle cost, but if you see this on the shelf for $50,
It's a buy.
it's a solid buy. Definitely get that. It is very good. Lux Row done a great job. Like I said, the Rebel 100 at $30. You know, this is a lot more proof points higher and has a lot more flavor. And $50-$60, I would imagine that's about the price point for that.
Yeah, I would say.
And being a store pick and all, it's solid. So grab one. It's good. So thanks for joining us on this show. We got on our soapbox. You know what? It's bound to happen, right? You've heard me get on that soapbox before.
If you watch our channel, you're used to it.
Yeah, you should be used to it. But and you know, you guys may have some of the same thoughts and opinions. I don't know, but leave us a comment and let us know what your thoughts and opinions are on the topics we discussed on Around the Barrel. And that's all we got for time for on this episode. It's kind of long, but you know, sorry about that. But we are enjoying this spirit, and it's great. Pick you one up if you see it. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.